If you've ever had a cat, you've probably thought about it. What would they be like if they were human, maybe even transforming into hot mommies while snuggled up beside you? Well, our protagonist Natsume Yori too thought about it. Natsume Yori had always loved cats ever since he was a kid. He always thought that cats were the best, and their fluffy, shiny bodies make him forget his human relationship. Natsume runs to his cat named Mikon. He hugs it and starts rubbing its soft and fluffy paws. Suddenly he woke up. He opened his eyes and sees a woman beside him in his bed.
Yeah, I hate my life, where was I? Oh, yeah.
And his hand is grabbing onto one of her massive milk bazookas. He panics and quickly got out of bed. He thought he did something to her. But the girl told him to not worry because no cheeks were clapped last night. Natsume looked at the time and quickly rushed out of his room, telling the girl they'll talk later. The girl gets confused, thinking he works at Studio Mappa, because even in situations like these, he does not take breaks. Natsume arrived at the store. He works, and was now dealing with one of the people he is supervising wanting to take a day off. Because of her sick kid, Yori couldn't put his foot down and let this employee walk all over him. As the other employees describe him, they were quick with their tongues judging him. How they manage people, as they said that the employee who was just making excuses and her kid wasn't exactly sick, the ants had left him alone as they stabbed him with insults, damaging his health. Slowly, another employee took the cake, draining him completely when she judged her based on his appearance. The now drained Aori had finished his job trying to deal with problems after problems as his shift ended. He looks like he actually works at Studio Mappa, but at least this one he gets to go home. Natsume complains that he wants to talk to cats, not humans. Just then he sees a black cat in front of him. His eyes widened and the cat bows its head to let Natsume pets it. He brought it to his balcony at home and gave it a bowl of milk. Suddenly the cat walks into his house and rolls around. Natsume panics, because he isn't allowed to have pets in the apartment, but he couldn't resist its cuteness, and it ended up falling asleep. Natsume then went to bed right beside it. We're back to the present time, and Natsume is walking home thinking about the cat last night. He then realized that he left his house with a random girl in it. He quickly got in and the girl was no longer there, cause after all bro's been gone for 16 hours. Suddenly the cat from yesterday came back. He hugs it, and thought he should send it back to its owner. Natsume realized he just unlocked a door, so how did the cat enter? He brushes it off and sends the cat off. As he walks in, the cat gave him a sad look, and he brought it back in. He told the cat to keep quiet or the landlord will find out. He then starts wondering who the girl that was in his bed was. He really wanted to talk to her too, but nothing can be done, so he decided to make shifts. While he's doing this, the cat got up and licks him. Natsume got super happy and gave the cat some food. He then went to bed with the cat beside him again. He realizes last night he slept really well, because usually he would wake up every 2 hours or so. He wonders if it was because of the cat. He recognizes its ribbon from somewhere and he fell asleep. He woke up and the same girl is right in front of him. His head is resting on her thighs and she said good morning. Natsume gets shocked and asks how she got in. She told him to calm down since she isn't a thief and she just wanted to thank him. Natsume gets confused and she told him that the food he gave her yesterday was very tasty. She asks for his name and said he has a cute name. She reveals that she likes him. She smiles and got on her knees as she starts crawling towards him. She told him that she'll let him keep her. Natsume blushed real hard as she got on top of him. The girl waits for his answer, and when Natsume is about to give her his answer, her stomach growls. She told him to wait and demands French toast. She wants him to use a baguette instead of the usual bread, topped with granulated sugar and maple syrup, and lastly some fruits on the sides. Natsume suggests they go eat out instead, but the girl said she can't go out otherwise she'll be chased away. Natsume gets confused and she says, just kidding. She touches his cheek and said she's counting on him. At the bakery store, Natsume saw a reflection of himself and realized his dark circles are gone since he's been getting enough sleep these last 2 days. The employees looked at him thinking he's some weirdo staring at his own reflection. Natsume saw this and he quickly grabbed the bread and got out. He arrived back home and he made a 5-star meal. Why was bro working at the store? Somebody send this man to MasterChef. The girl gets super excited seeing this. Natsume explained he has always liked cooking as a kid, and he was good at it since a child. He's a natural-born cooker. And since the girl looked hungry, he decided to cook a lot for her. She smiles and rubs his head. As she's about to dig into the thick, juicy toast, Natsume realized that the red ribbon he saw on the cat is around her neck. He asks her about it, and then asks her how she knew what the food he gave the cat last night tasted like. Okay, this guy might be the cooker, but he's as smart as a goldfish on land. She had to spoon-feed him the answer that she's the black cat that came to his house 2 days ago. Come on now, Natsume. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure this out. She explained that she's a catgirl, a girl who turns into a cat at night and a human in the morning. Natsume still doesn't believe her. She then told him that she was naked because when she was a cat, she didn't have any clothes on, and that's also why she couldn't leave his house. But Natsume is still convinced he's being pranked. The girl looks at him and gave him the choo-choo train treatment. Natsume ate it. Natsume told her she can't stay in his house because it's dangerous to stay in a singles man house. Also, sometimes he might not be home, so he suggests she live in a woman's house. She laughs and calls him a nice guy. She then tells him she wants to stay with him. She got close to him and told him she's a good girl, and if she stays here, they'll eat together, sleep together, and she'll improve his life quality. Oh yes, please, you know what they say, a load a day keeps the mental in A. She put her hand on his face, and Natsume is absolutely hard, blushing hard. She then suddenly said she'll start by cutting his hair. She said his hair is super messy. Natsume apologizes and gets nervous since she was so close to him. As she's about to start, she says she's never cut anyone's hair before. In the end, Natsume went to a barber. He got out and went to his workplace. His co-worker gets confused about why he's here since it's his day off today. He explains to her that he's here to fill his other co-worker's place since she's not here. The girl suggests he go home, and she'll fill her place instead. Natsume wonders why, and she said he seems a little better, that's all. He came back home and is greeted with half of the girl's raw cake. And no, I'm not talking about bakery. He quickly covers his eyes, and she looks at him and said, he's looking better than yesterday. Natsume blushes, and the girl added that maybe it's because he finally had a proper meal. Natsume then thought she wanted him to make French toast for his own sake. But the girl said, nah fam, I'm just hungry. She moved over to his bed and lays down. Natsume asks her for her name. She rolls over and got on top of him, telling him her name is Michan. She then turns back into a cat. Can we click the undo button, please? Michan jumps on him and starts licking him endlessly, and they both fell asleep. Morning came and Natsume is being woken up by a couple slaps on the face. He got angry, but as soon as he opened his eyes, he sees Michan with her bare rocket launchers out locked and loaded. He panicked and told her to put them away, otherwise there may be an explosion. In his pants, I mean. Natsume realizes it's only 6:30. Michan says she's hungry, but Natsume usually gets out of bed at 7:30 and leave for work without breakfast. But her stomach is empty, she says. Natsume told her to go help herself. She's displeased to hear this and bite him. In the end, Natsume got up and made breakfast. Michan smiles, saying he should be glad since she's waking him up early and he's also having breakfast. While washing the dishes, Natsume told her he doesn't recall letting a human live with him, but Michan says the cat and the human is the same person. She then says his attitude is too different from when she's a cat. Natsume explains that the cat version of her is just cuter than the human one. Michan gets shocked and went up to Natsume to check if his Elon Musk rocket is still rocking down there because he might not be into girls, she thought. Natsume then asks her about her ribbon and if she has an owner, but she says it's only to avoid animal control. Suddenly his doorbell rang. It's a package, but it doesn't say who sent it. Michan reveals that it's hers. She opens her package and offers her Victoria's Secret to Natsume, to which he declines. He then explains to her that she would need to leave after she finds herself a place to go. Here we go again, another protector of the V card. She says okay, and proceeds to go on her phone. Just then, the doorbell rings again. This time it's his landlord, asking him to walk his dog Tetsuo, since his back is starting to hurt again. He then asks if there's a cat, cause yesterday he heard some meowing. Natsume panics, and told him it's probably a stray cat. As Natsume is about to go grab his jacket to leave his house, he bumps into Michan, fully dressed up and ready to leave too. Since it was still early in the morning, she's able to leave the house. While walking, Michan calls Natsume a beta male for always doing what he's told to do when he can actually decline them or make up an excuse. But Natsume says it's not like I can do things that no one else can. Michan hears this and got in front of him. She puts her hand on his face, telling him it's not true since she wouldn't want to be raised by anybody aside from Natsume Iori. She tells him to have more confidence and pride because after all, she chose him. She then walks off with Tetsuo. They got back and the landlord says goodbye to Natsume, but Michan stops him and told him to say thank you. Natsume tries to stop her, but the landlord agrees with her and says thank you to him. Natsume smiled and looks at Michan, who smiled back at him. Michan lays on his bed, getting ready to go back to sleep. Meanwhile, Natsume got to head off to work. Aoi told Mechon that if she was staying, she could maybe cook for him or even hang up the futons. Mechon looked at him dead in the eyes, implying that she wouldn't do shit with that. Iori fumed as he went to go to work, mumbling how lazy she is. When he had gotten home, Michan's cat form welcomed him, which made him happy. Michan showed Aoi a couple of post-it notes, indicating how grateful she is for all of the things that Aoi had done for her, and kissed him. As Iori's face flushed from all of the compliments he had received, thinking she wasn't so bad after all. Min's routine starts with her walking until the sun shines. From there, she would turn into a human and grab one of Iori's clothes and sleep with him, which he clearly does not like. Iori had already told her already and had even set up a mattress for her to sleep in, but it's like he is talking to a wall as Mechon just brushed off all he was yelling at her. The reason it was okay to sleep with her in her cat form and not with her human form is plain and simple because Iori is still a man through and through, though it seems like Mechon doesn't care at all and lacks any shame and danger that is within her body, making him think that maybe it is because of her being a cat. But unfortunately, her being childish is because she is one. She is actually 17 years old. Iori could hear the police sirens in his head and immediately implemented a boundary between them, giving her an ultimatum that if she does this again, he would make her leave. No questions asked. The two argue about him treating her cat form so differently than her human form, which Iori explained that it's because her cat form is way cuter than her. Mechon was perplexed, but her attitude changed when she demanded to make her some nekom manhwa while he was working. One of Iori's co-workers asked him about a girl he was with, and that it was nice to know that she was his girlfriend, and not some person he just hired to give him company. Iori told them that it was nothing like that, and she was some relative or a person. He was just taking care of her at the moment, which his co-worker did not really buy his whole excuse since she was too pretty to be related to him. Aoi had gotten home and saw Michan casually taking one of her naps. This gave him an idea to try and brush her hair to see if the brush really works. He was astonished by how silky and soft her hair is, and it made him think how pretty she is, as his co-worker told him. Suddenly, he finds himself staring too much, making him hear police sirens again. Being well aware of their age difference, he tried running her image as he pinpoints that she had eaten his favorite candy and has crumbs in her mouth as she sleeps, but later on finds her cute all the way. Michan heard all of this and was about to confront him about it when she turned into a cat, and Iori had turned all lovey-dovey again towards her. But her mood changes as Iori told her that he wishes that she could stay like this forever and leads her sleeping in the sleeping bag even if she's in her cat form.